What's up, you guys? So a couple days ago I told you I'd be doing a Q&A video for my next one. I asked you guys to leave any questions that you might have on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You guys definitely did not disappoint. So I guess let's get started. We'll go ahead and start with Twitter. Before you auditioned for drum corps, what was your favorite corps to watch? I would probably have to say Bluecoats, Cavaliers, and Cadets. I'm still a big fan of all those corps. I love watching them. Aside from regionals and world championships, which town's show was the most memorable to perform at either good or bad? I don't really remember any bad ones, but I would say my favorite two, like most memorable, would be Muncie, Indiana, and Hattiesburg, Mississippi. The Muncie, Indiana show, there's a lot of band kids that come out, so they go absolutely crazy for anything you do, whatever corps you're in. And I think that's really awesome, and I remember last year I got to meet some awesome kids there. Oh, and Hattiesburg, since Spirit of Atlanta is a southern corps, as we start to head down south, the crowds are a lot more reactive to us and what we do, so they can be very vocal in a good way. And Hattiesburg has a huge stadium, so it's like this wall of sound coming back at you. Yeah. If you could march any instrument other than mellow or cymbals, what would it be? I'd probably have to say flugelhorn, if a corps that I was in allowed it. Flugelhorn is actually like one of my favorite instruments out there. I've always wanted to play one. I just think it's a really nice instrument. Would you recommend traveling so far to march for SOA? I'm from California. Yeah, we've had members from California march with us. We've had members from other countries come, so why not? How are you feeling knowing that this is your age out year? It's kind of bittersweet. I mean, I guess that's the response any age out would give you. It's kind of tough knowing this is the last year I'm going to be able to go on tour as a member and stuff like that. But on the other hand, I feel like I'm pretty ready to age out, have a summer to myself maybe, stuff like that. Although I'm fairly certain I will be at shows one way or another next summer, so yeah. What's your favorite memory from your first year marching with Spirit? I have a lot. But I think I'd say the biggest two were when we found out that we made finals and the Delta ceremony, which if you don't know, that's a ceremony that we have at the Atlanta Regional since it's our home show, where we get our Deltas. It's a really great time. We get to meet a lot of alumni and stuff. We have a lot of family and friends that come in. Pick your favorite teen movie franchise character. What instrument would they play and what corps would they march in? Why? I don't know what a teen movie franchise is. Would Mean Girls count as that? Okay, let's take Katie. She would play... I could see her playing mellophone. Maybe in the front ensemble, one of those. What corps would she march in and why? I don't know. Which do you like better, WGI or DCI? That's a pretty good question. DCI, you get more of an experience from it since you're on the road all summer. There's really nothing else like it. However, I feel like in WGI, I get to perform more since I don't have like a shako over my face or anything. There's less people on the floor, so you can focus on each of them person by person. And I guess there's a lot more artistic freedom in WGI, so performance-wise, I like WGI better, but overall experience-wise, I like DCI better. If you started your own drum corps, would you put a twerk line in there? Yes. Alright, let's move on to YouTube now. Do you prefer marching cymbals over mellow, vice versa, or both, and why? Obviously with mellophone you can be more musical, because you actually have like, you know, pitches and tones and stuff like that. But kind of like what I said with WGI, with cymbals I feel like I can perform more, because I don't have a bell in front of my face, and there's a lot more visually I can do, so you can kind of be more expressive with that. So they have their positives and negatives. What are you looking forward to most this summer, and what are you going to do involving music once you age out? This summer, I guess I'm just looking forward to making the best of my age out and meeting a bunch of awesome people. And once I age out, I hope to teach a cymbal line somewhere, whether it's scholastic, independent, or an actual drum corps cymbal line. I just really want to teach cymbals somewhere. I really want to march indoor percussion, but I'm a brass player and don't know how. How exactly can I learn cymbals for it, or what did you do? My first year cymbals, I was in an independent A indoor drum line. It was our first year and we didn't really even have a cymbal tech, so I kind of just learned to hold cymbals there. However, if you want to learn, the best way would be to get a pair of cymbals first of all. Try to borrow some from your school or a music store or something like that. And there's actually a YouTube channel called Cymbal Technique 101. I'll put the link right here. You can pretty much learn all the basics like flip-ups, flip-downs, crashes, and positions. It's a really useful resource. How difficult would it be to march drum corps and do high school band at the same time? I didn't march until I got to college, however I've marched with several high school age members, so it's definitely doable. How or when is the best time to come up to you at a show, because I'll see you guys in West Virginia this summer and would love to meet you and take a picture. Best time would be when we are not in uniform, I guess when we're done with our performance, first of all. After shows, I'm usually just chilling by the buses or I'm going around the stadium, so I guess if you see me around there. What was your high school marching band like? Were you a big band? Did you go to BOA events? Definitely not. We were really small. We had like 30-something members my senior year, and the only competitions we went to were the little local invitational ones. So that kind of just goes to show you, you don't have to come from a big band to do drum corps and stuff like that. What is your favorite drum corps show besides the ones you marched in spirit? My favorite show of all time would have to be Bluecoat's 2010 Metropolis The Future Is Now. I got to see it live 3 times and it blew my mind every single time. It's probably the most listened to drum corps show I have on my phone. What made you want to do drum corps? I saw my first show in 2008. I thought it was the most amazing thing ever, but I never thought of something as like, oh, I want to do this. 2009, I got to watch the cadets rehearse at my high school, and that was when I started thinking like, maybe I should learn a brass instrument and audition for a corps. 2010 was when one of my best friends actually marched spirit. He came out to me after a show one time and just said, hey, you should definitely learn a brass instrument and come audition. So I guess it was kind of just those 3 years just building up on each other. Tips for learning a brass instrument in hopes to get into a corps. Okay, and let's move to Facebook now. Why doesn't your mother appear in more episodes? Why isn't your mother in prison for manslaughter for cutting the brakes on that lady's car? What's your best story about recovery in a show? I don't know if this counts, but in 2012, I think it was at Centerville, Ohio. In our closer, I had a really tough direction change and my right shoe my foot just slipped out of it. So I had to continue the rest of the show with one shoe. I guess there wasn't really any recovery unless going on just counts as recovery. Just remember afterwards I was like, oh, well, I just lost a shoe for the rest of the season. But a guard member picked it up, so that was a good thing. Best and worst places you've stayed on tour. The best place, I think, was in Texas, the high school that we stayed at before San Antonio. If you've never been to Texas, the saying, everything is bigger, is definitely true. I'm pretty sure the high school we stayed at used to be a mall. Like, I'm not even kidding. I think it was a mall that they turned into a high school. And we ended up going to a turf field to rehearse. It was in a stadium, so we could, get used to the high box and stuff. But the school itself was so nice. And the worst place, I think it was somewhere in Mississippi in 2011. There were fire ants everywhere. And their anthills, which were huge, were all over the fields. The field also was the field was like a sponge. We would do a rep and then, we'd stay at set. Then they'd tell us to relax. You'd probably see like 10 people just like start slapping their ankles because there's fire ants all over them. Is mayonnaise an instrument? Always. Favorite year to march? I think my favorite year was 2012. We had the Sin City show, and it was so much fun to perform. I also just had a lot of fun that season in general. But the music that we played, the visuals that we had, it was my favorite by a long shot. And it resulted in this picture. Yeah, if you see that around but you didn't know, that's me. Have you ever tried to spin guard equipment? If so, how successful were you? That's literally all I can do, and it's probably really bad. What show from the past do you wish you could see live? I can easily say without a doubt I would want to see some early 90s Velvet Nights. I think it's either 92 or 93, whichever one has the giant shark at the end. I would do anything to see that show live. What are your plans for marching after aging out of DCI and WGI? Like I said, I'd like to teach a cymbal line, but I also would hopefully like to keep making YouTube videos, maybe expand into videos that aren't necessarily about the marching art and stuff. I also think it'd be really cool to work with DCI for like media and stuff like that. We'll see. Show site with the worst field you've ever marched on, or any stories pertaining to that. I'd probably have to say Cedarburg, Wisconsin. 2012, the grass was ridiculously thick and everybody just hated it. And this past season, they cut the grass, but I think it was like raining all day, so I'm pretty sure every corps you saw, there was at least one person falling. I didn't, but I almost fell, but hope I don't have that happen. What takes more endurance, mellow or cymbals? Favorite DCI show, favorite WGI show, and why? Definitely cymbals. Mellophone, you're just here, like that. Cymbals, you're everywhere with your arms. Yep, that's about all the questions I have time to answer right now. Thank you so much, you guys, for sending me them. I really do like talking to you and getting to connect with you guys. I'll probably end up doing another Q&A video once I get back from tour, since I'm sure I'll have a lot of stories and stuff to tell then. I will be taking the wristbands on tour with me to sell at shows, but if you'd like to buy one now, you can still order them. However, I'm going to be leaving like next Thursday or Friday, so it'd be best if you can pay by PayPal. I'm hopefully going to put out a couple more videos before I leave, so keep an eye out for those, and I'll see you guys later. J Fun Core, subscribe.